Hi everyone, this is Cassandra reporting live from the cottage on May 26, 2004. We are now closing the cottage because it's sold. Come on, I just want to show you a few memories where I grew up. This is where me and my friend Ashley would jump off the dock and swim. Here was where my grandparents had their boat. This is where my grandparents used to sit and watch me swim. And over there by the rocks is where me and my dad used to swim when I was little. And up here we have the deck where the family used to spend many times together. We used to have lunch out here. We used to have Obi Joyful Hour before dinner, and we used to come out here after dinner to watch the sunset with their coffee. And this is the living room where we used to come and sit after the sunset went down. And when I was little, my grandfather used to read to me over here, and my grandmother would cross stitch over here. And we used to play games sometimes, such as Chinese checkers, and we would have a fireplace on if it was cold at night. And we would also watch TV while we played games, or if my grandpa read or my grandma did her cross stitch. And this was my grandparents' bedroom. My grandma would get ready here if we went to Smith Falls or Perth or out somewhere. This was my grandma's side of the bed, and this was my grandpa's side of the bed.
2, 1.
And this was one of the bedrooms where the guests used to sleep. Like Kevin used to sleep here sometimes, or I would sleep in one of these beds with one of my cousins, Chris or Pat.
Two, 1.
And here was where me and my dad used to sleep. Like I used to sleep here, and my dad used to sleep over there.
We're rolling. 3, 2, 1.
Here was where my grandmother used to bake. She would make my mini pizzas in this oven, and she used to make my favorite banana and peanut butter sandwiches here. Here she used to wash the clothes and then hang them out to dry outside. And this is where I used to get bathed when I was little, and my dad used to bathe me. And the light is when every time we would come here, we would turn it on, and then when we left, we would turn it off, and it would always stay on when we were at the cottage, and it basically meant that there was life at the cottage. And this fridge is where we used to keep our beer and our snacks for Obi Joyful Hour. And here was our country seat. We basically went to the washroom here, or took a shower. And over here, there used to be a basket full with magazines, and when people went to the washroom, they could read them. And we got ready for bed in here, and I guess you could say it was the most used room.
Three, 2, 1.
Here was where we would basically have breakfast if it was raining outside or way too cold. My grandpa would sit here usually, or and then my grandma would always sit over there. And then at night, my grandpa would always sit here and play his game of solitaire. And before dinner, he would check his blood sugar level. And here was where we used to sit down for dinner. My grandpa would sit in this chair here, and my dad would sit over here. And this table would pull out, and the family would sit all around. And one night, a squirrel came in during dinner, so we had to pull all the couches out. And my dad took out his gloves and covered the squirrel with a blanket. And this would sometimes be used as a bedroom if Heather and Gary were here. This couch would be pulled out, and they would sleep here on the deck.
Three, two, one.
And this was where we would have to have breakfast in the morning when it was sunny out. My grandpa would sit here, my grandma would sit here, and we would feed the chipmunks, and the chipmunks would come on your hand with the seeds. And this is the last tour of the cottage and the last time I will be here. And these are my memories. Bye, cottage. I'll miss you.